Hmm. What the hell's going on with the stream? Audio sync check. Yeah. Hey, Anthony, Rob. Good to see you guys. Alright. Well, no time to waffle on. Have to get straight to it. Straight to it so that I don't get myself into trouble. So, yeah, I see that the camera is a little out of... I'll do. Yep. Hey, House of Moth. How's those board files going for you? Hey, Teresa. Martin 1107. Where in Queensland are you, Martin? Matthew Fox, Morrow Paul. Oh, not even sure what that means. You check failed. Audio not in sync. Ah, jeez. Alright. Here we go. Audio sync correction. La 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 la. Stop. There we go. Check 2. Okay. Martin's on Runaway Bay, the Gold Coast. That's almost in New South Wales. You're almost cockroach status, according to State of Origin. Well, this is going to be the inaugural test of the new screwdrivers. They're fixing things. All right. Yeah, I knew I should have got the shorter ones. These long shaft wearer drivers, yeah, that's just a little bit too long for me. It feels very awkward to do it from that distance. The contact's good. The tip is good. But, yeah, it's a little bit... Maybe I'll get used to it. I guess we'll see. My other ones are the shorter ones, like the Torx ones. See the shorter shaft? So... Hey Matthew Fox, 3 AM. Good time to be awake. Alright, good. Isn't Pico finished the Weeha type? Is that a wobble in this one? Oh no. I guess we'll see how we go. Yeah, sometimes when you get a new tool you just gotta get used to it. Oops, almost forgot the middle one. Yeah, Weeha is the Pico finish. These are Weera, which I don't believe has such a thing. Okay, well we just got a ordinary old 6 there that just needs a screen. I still get quite a lot of these. That really does feel slightly off center. It seems straight. Maybe it's the... I think it's just the screws. And then after this I've got another phone to fix, but it's a Telstra ZTE T84, one of those orange Tough Max ones that aren't so tough. But at least this is a fairly mindless one. Yeah, it's just a screen replacement. Hey, Lamb Groot. Canary Islands. Yeah. I don't get many people from there around here. Okay. This one's never been opened before. This is actually a genuine... So because it's genuine, I'm going to heat up the adhesive around the home button. Yeah, the whole State of Origin thing is a bit of an embarrassment. I don't personally follow State of Origin much at all, other than the fact that it lets me know when there's going to be some crazy action going around this town, because obviously there's a lot of followers here. But the winning run is pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm definitely going to have to That feels chewed out. At least the bigger one does the job. Um, yeah, New South Wales really needs to do something about their team. It's become an embarrassment now. Almost like Australians trying to win the whatever that cup is over in New Zealand every year. Something keeps flashing in my peripheral vision. I'll see if I can find the shorter versions of these, because, yeah, it's really not working with me. Greg Evan here. Hello, Greg. Hopefully I won't be as cranky today as I was the other day. I was really in a mood the other day. Okay, I actually might put this one in for refurb since it's an original. Hey, Winnie Pig, Tobias, Trey. Martin, I actually am Australian. I'm actually from Adelaide originally, but I lived over in South Africa for a few years, and I was up in. Well, I moved around a little bit, but I started out in Pretoria. Or what are they calling it now? Tshwane? Is it Tshwane now? Anyway, Pretoria. And a little bit of time in Zimbabwe, and then to where did I go then? Centurion, yeah, Centurion, and I lived in Centurion for a while. Quite enjoyed that. Lived next to the cricket park. Made for excellent days of just strolling over to the cricket events. Got to see Australia a couple of times. It was awesome. I don't personally refurb screens, but I do send them off to be refurbed. Well, obviously I don't get the same ones back, but yeah, the typical sort of exchange program. I don't do it too much though, particularly that they're just so cheap that it probably costs me more in time and postage unless I'm doing 20 or 30 of them at once. And it's certainly certainly not worth doing it for non-original type screens. Yeah, this is definitely, come on. I have an in-law in Zimbabwe. It's not the greatest place to be. It hasn't really been an ideal place to be since, I guess it sort of really started to go down after about a little bit after the mid-90s. It wasn't too bad in about 96, 97. Okay. I have been down to Durban a few times, gone through the Drakensberg. There was a hotel timeshare there. What was it called? Man, I can't even remember these things now. I'm so disappointed in myself. It'll come to me too late. Anyway, so there was a timeshare down there, and Castleburn, that was it. Yeah, Castleburn. So I quite enjoyed my time there. And down in Durban, what was it? Costa del something? I can't remember. It's pushing over 20 years ago now. My parents moved to South Africa from Wales in the UK in 1971, 96, and then moved to Melbourne. Alright, yep. Yeah, there's a lot of UK people that sort of went to South Africa and then now have ended up here in Australia. I can understand why. there was certainly a great deal of hope in the mid-90s that things would be all good, but that didn't last very long. By 2000 it was pretty obvious that things were just going to go back to how it was. Same old disparities. No magical wonderland anymore. Which is a shame, but I guess that's the reality of things. I just noticed my microscope switcher won't be running. So it's going to be a please stand by while I do things. Whoops. A very different time in the 70s. It would have been in South Africa, yes. Certainly I think the mid-90s was one of the sort of better times. Yeah, there was a lot of hope and prosperity. Things were happening. It was looking good. But then glorious old corruption kicked in again, and yep, nothing changed. Everything changed and nothing changed. The microscope switcher is a compass-based switcher that I built up. So I just use a 3-axis I really am going to have to get the shorter shafts on these. The trouble with the long shaft is that if you're ever so slightly off center when you start applying pressure downwards, it tends to kick it off to the side. Okay, camera's good. Check the clicky works. Okay, that's good. Major pain when you put everything back together and then find that your home button doesn't click because the thickness change in the screen or something like that, and you know, disassemble everything again and bend out that little metal plate a bit. Are you test driving the longer wear of screwdrivers? Well, I just picked up I was just picking up screwdrivers from my supplier, and I didn't really pay sufficient attention to the shaft length, and that has definitely proven to be a little bit of an oversight. I think the Torx ones will be fine, but on the Phillips, particularly the 00, you definitely want the shorter shaft. Well, I should say I want the shorter shaft. Maybe other people have far better dexterity and personal control or whatever. Me, I'm a hyped up, caffeine running, shaky crazy man. Okay, it's good. I love these videos and you others put out. Gives me different ideas for my work. I do microelectronics and model trains. Oh, cool. Fitting digital control systems, sound systems, HO and N-scale. Is N-scale the really tiny one? I actually had an interest in that for a while. Something like 1/4 inch wide or 1/2 inch wide track or something like that. I ended up doing most of my models, most of my hobby stuff was model aircraft though. Did a lot of design of aircraft and then design of electronics for the aircraft. N-gauge is tiny, cool. Ich bin ein Scout. It's about the extent of German, I remember. About the extent of the Afrikaans I still remember is Ach nie Afrikaans praat nie maar, which basically says I can't speak Afrikaans. Yeah, at least the screen seems to work, so that's good. That little bright spot was just a bobble under the plastic, and I am just checking to see that it's sitting straight. Yeah, good. Hey, Coburn. Alright, that's that one done. Now we've got another one to do. This is different. This is the T84. TT scale, 1/240th. Whew, that's tiny. Sort of thing you can fit on your fit on the back of a phone. Hey Cujo. Okay, so this one's got a protector on it. Alright, this one doesn't. Okay, what we're doing with this is we need to take the SIM tray assembly out of here and put it into here. That's what I was meant to get. A bloomin' 0.9mm hex driver. My goodness. Who the heck comes up with 0.9mm hex? It's crazy. And then goes and puts it on a phone that's going to be exposed to the elements, which will inevitably corrode out. Yeah, it's going to corrode the edges of these things out, and then your 0.9mm hex becomes a 0.95 round, which of course is completely useless. And sadistic engineers, something like that, yeah. Okay, so we want, I think it's T8 for these. These aren't actually Torx, but the Torx works well enough in them. Hey, Donald Elliott. Looks like an angry caterpillar running around. That is so... I'm going to have to look up and see what that looks like on YouTube or something. Okay, these are... I got a whole bunch of spares dropped off to me by someone who watches my videos, and it's going to take me a great deal of time to go through them, but it's good to have them because I can't get these spares so much anymore. Okay. Supposedly these mostly work, but it's, I guess it's kind of like MacBook A1278s and stuff like that. Even if they mostly work, you still end up just using them for bits and pieces. Hey Rob. Yep, sorry, round screw holes already taken. I mean, yeah, driver. I ruined that joke. At least the action on these drivers feels nice. I was worried that the plastic top would bind too much. I've encountered that on a lot of other plastic ones where they don't finish them off internally properly, and they have a bad tendency to just grind. I don't know if I've got one here. Can't see it, but these are going to be replacing my Baiku ones. Now the problem I've been having with the Baiku is that they're just a little bit too heavy, and yeah, they just don't quite feel, and these rubber rings keep coming off, which is annoying. But yeah, too heavy, and then there is always the risk of electrical shock. Now I know that the surface of this is not electrically conductive because it has been anodized or whatever, I can't pronounce that properly, but yeah, I'm replacing it. The other big problem they have is they're too heavy and they won't stick on the magnetic holders that I got, whereas these will. So yeah, key reasons for changing over. Now with these, the biggest thing that often happens is when people try to get this flex that I'm going to get out, is they pull on it the wrong way slightly, and then before you know it, you've torn the flex. Okay, just got to heat up this top piece here because it's kind of bonded down to the circuit board. Should do the trick. Alright, how's the moth? Hope the spawn don't keep you up too much. Let's see if this one's going to come off without drama. No. Come on. This is another sadistic engineering thing. So how do we hold the board down, sir? It's like just use two-sided tape, why not? So the first time you ever open these things up, it's a terrifying experience. And that's usually what happens, is that peels the shields right off the board. And I have to get this shield off so I can get to the flex. Faycom, light, short and perfect. But I've already started investing in wear. I don't want to have to change my look and feel now of my drivers. You gotta make sure your bling bling matches. Okay, I'm doing this on my donor one, not the customer's one, of course. The chances I'll probably have to do it on the customer one as well. Oh, that is really actually... So why put it down so tight with so much adhesive? Yeah, when people complain about Apple phones being a pain to work on and stuff like that, it's like, have you worked on any of these other ones where they've got just nothing but adhesive to hold things down? Come on. You should be thankful that we get screws in Apples. Yeah, two-sided tape for construction just annoys the diddlies out of me. Right, I need to activate my microscope switcher. Okay, I should do it. Probably should have it as a normal menu item. Okay, that's working. Great. Superb. Alright, so now we've got to get these items out without breaking them. And it's actually a little bit harder than it seems at first. I mean, it's not tremendously hard, but it's also easy enough to botch it up too. I might go the alternate route. Well, I really did a good job on this one. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate the reminders. I I'm only doing 250 centigrade on this heating. Wow, normally I don't have this much trouble. We'll work our way back to the other side then. See if we can, there we go. And usually what tears is around here or here. Okay. My poor old spudge is really starting to die. Wow, why are you so hard? Hey, fixing things? Oh wait, I said hello to you before. Can I take that hello back? There we go. Alright, so we've got our extracted cable assembly. Now we're going to go put it in the other one. Ah, great. Means I'm not going to be able to say hello to someone else. Hey Zero Effect, been a while since I've seen you. Hey Paul Clavick. The fires, they're in our region, but fortunately where we are, it is so lacking in bushland, so to speak. It's a far more barren area here, so the chances of an actual progressive fire developing and sustaining out here is pretty limited. I think a lot of that's because this was a gold mining town. The ground itself has been stripped of most of its natural flora. So yeah, they're really the trees are just too sparse apart, and there's not a lot of grass. Hey John, it's partially interesting. It's just another typical case of some random Android phone needing a bit of assistance to get back up and running. I generally do not do anything with Android phones. I used to do Samsungs, but when the screens, once they changed over to the way they do it from the S5, I just sort of walked away from them. It was like, no, I'm not going to get involved in that. I think a lot of people suffered financially because of the new type of screens. You know, they changed them and they'd botch it up and all sorts of things. Okay. Disconnect the power. The battery connector on these is a real absolute flippin' pain. There's no really effective way of getting it off without using the cables to get it off. I think the problem with a lot of Android phones is that because there's so many variants out there, it's hard to get to know the quirks and tricks of every single one of them. And so it seems like every time one turns up on your desk, it's a whole new project of discovery. And doing discovery on other people's phones is not always a good idea. Hey Catherine. Hey Kathy girl. Micro's doing well. It was the other day, it was 1 month of his treatment. He's definitely far more the cat that we used to have once more. Very thankful for that. I'm gonna have to get some more insulin and needles soon. Just sort of trying to remind myself to do those things. And since being human grade insulin, we do. I think I have to pay about 130 Australian, I think it is, per vial, which isn't too bad because it lasts about a month and a half. Pray for me, chat, to about test i7 after reballing baseband CPU. Oh, right, Nick, you mean right, iPhone 7. So you're doing the right. So another shop did the audio IC, overcooked it, ruined the baseband. Yep, that's how it usually goes. That's why I send those jobs off to someone else. I send most of my phone jobs down to Bill from A1 Mobiles Repairs, and he has actually just moved into a new location, which is really good, so he can do a lot more jobs for me. Come on. This one's been difficult, of course. I mean, if push comes to shove, I will do some jobs, but I'm already busy enough with enough things here that I don't really need to take on tasks like that. Yeah, Martin, you in the hinterlands, yeah, I've actually been up there a few times in the past when I used to work down the Gold Coast, and yeah, I think it'd be a bit terrifying to see how bad it's been burnt out. I think most repairs on the S5 in year before was replacing the power button. Yeah, I've done a few of those actually, yeah. Does Micro get special food? No, he doesn't really. He that is the great thing about, I shouldn't say great, but that is the convenient thing about diabetes in cats, is that you don't have to be as strict as you are with dogs, which is a blessing. So long as we keep them off food with too many carbs in it, then we're good. That one's been a bit tricky. This one supposedly got damaged. I'm just trying to look for the damage. Might have been a bent pin or something. I don't want to use heat on this because the screen, it shouldn't cause issues, but yeah, if I can get it off this way, I'm happier. Yep, that's well and truly botched now anyway. If the bad sim didn't ruin it, I certainly did. There we go. It's out of here. Ever worked on an LG 3 cell phone? No. Do you have a pen for Micro for his diabetes? No, I was looking at it because it was recommended, and I gotta admit, it really did look quite convenient. But to be honest, we're finding the current needles that we're using to be perfectly quick and easy anyway. Probably scratch the pace, because that's what happens on YouTube. It probably would save a little bit of time, particularly with the whole measuring out aspect, but it's not a major issue, so we're sticking with the needles for now. Okay. Seems fine. I do actually want to have a look at that old one and see what's going on. Would heating the spudger work? It probably would have a problem of the what am I trying to say? The heat in the spudger would just vanish too quickly. Okay, I can see the damage here. Yeah, you can see at the front here. See, it's missing the lifted up thing. So good to know that that definitely is what's happened, because if there had been no damage here and I put it in, it'd be like, well, it obviously wasn't the flex then. So it's good to know that that's confirmed. Well, that was bright. Is Bill in your area? No, Bill is about 2,500 kilometers from me. So, okay, we've got a problem here. I have mixed up the boards. I don't know which one's which. Crap. Alright. Okay, can anyone tell me if this one is the one that just came from the phone? Oh wait, I know how I can tell. You got shields missing. You don't. Shields missing is the one from the donor phone. Whew. That was close. Okay, to be fair, it wouldn't have been a major issue. It just would have been more like a, well, we'll just have to pick one and see if that works. See if that one is the one that has the user's information on it. And if not, we'll have to swap it back out. But it would have been an inconvenience, not to mention a little bit embarrassing, although the fact that I even got to that point is in itself embarrassing. Just hang on. I'll be back. Alright, we're back, we're live. Let's see, what sort of chaos happened while I was... let's see, am I in trouble? Yeah. Hey, Paul Lucas. Okay. Hey, Davidson, Wellington. Hey, Jan Zimmy. Been a while. And Lethal One. Pardon me. Anel's in here? Why is Anel in here? Alright. Where was I? I think I was putting everything back together. That was a person that had a very nicely smashed up iPhone 7 Plus. And I just wanted to check to make sure it was even a viable repair. Because it's one of those situations where if the... Ah, damn it, I put the wrong... if the chassis is bent on them, then I generally just don't even bother. And it was a red phone. Main reason why I won't bother with the bent chassis ones is that usually to get them to bend, it takes quite a bit on the iPhone 7s and 8s, which means that chances are the circuit board went through quite a bit of trauma, and so you fix it up and good chance a couple of weeks later it's going to be back in your shop with the person complaining that something's gone wrong. And being the 7s, it's probably going to be the audio IC. You're too predictable with your Androids. What do you mean? Well, the fact that I'm always the same T84s. How on earth do you work in marigolds? What? I've lost the conversation here, I think. The long shaft for the wearer here works fine for this particular phone, but I mean the screws I'm dealing with are significantly larger than what's in the iPhone. So yeah, certainly for the iPhone, I think I'll order in the short 00, and I'll order in the 0.9mm hex as well. Alright, now the fun bit of this phone assembly process. I really do not like this. Putting all the little pads, the button things back on, it's just such a pain in the posterior. It's fiddly, and half the time it just falls straight back off. These ones, you got to start at the top and crush downwards. Okay. Why has that screen got a crack in it? It's under the... Okay. Yeah, flux isn't great. It's not the worst, but it's certainly not great. I mean, depends on what is in the flux. If it's genuine original type pine sap, it's not too bad. But then again, I mean, it is still stuff that's burning, so if it's burning, it's bad. But there are worse things. Let's check see if Wi-Fi is alive. What? Okay, Wi-Fi is alive. Unfortunately, I don't have a sim here to check this, but I'll do that later. But I dare say it should be good. And we'll put this one into a parts container. Where is my... Right. Other side of the room. Crammed into a crevice. Yeah, I'm going to have to start purging out soon. It's starting to look like my iPhone 4 container. No one cares about even organizing. It's just... Unfortunately, the screws on this are all very simple. So you can mix them all up. And no one's going to notice. Oh, so that's where the other one went. Oh, all this time. I was wondering where my other 0.9 hex drive was, and it was in there the whole time. Hilarious. Okay, that's good. Okay. Random screw falling out. All right. Cat in the background. Shouldn't be any cats in the background here. No siree, not this one. Okay. Alright, I've got some machines to assemble here. No, not that one. Oops. Oh, let's see. Right, this one. This is a job I should have had sorted out a month ago. And it's actually very embarrassing that it's taken me this long to sort out the situation. Yeah, it's strictly all my own fault. Yeah, that's right. This battery's going to need replacing, which makes it slightly better for me. Right, yeah, this is a job, like I said, should have been done ages ago. And I've been very slack, and I do sincerely apologise on behalf of the person, or the people that sent it. Sometimes jobs, once you lose the, how could you say, once you lose the heat of the job, and they languish, it is such a bad thing. Okay, so these are the T5s, so that feels good and normal for distance on the shaft. Yeah, that's fine. Can I show you micro? Unfortunately, micro is on the other side of the property, so no, I can't at this point. Rob Brown, yes, exactly. Put it into that container so I wouldn't lose it, and so I lost it. It's just makes brilliant, perfect sense every time. Okay. But yeah, I've started to get a bit of a collection of these jobs that something happens and I can't finish it in the one sitting, and so it languishes, and that is just such bad news around here. Just like me not finding my preferred tweezers. How does that even happen? It's not like my tweezers go anywhere. You get these crappy Vetus ones. Ah, here we go. Hiding. And I feel bad, very bad about it, because it's damaging to my own reputation, and rightfully so. And if I was the person enlisting my services, I would be starting to get pretty damn mad. And rightfully so. There's only so many times someone in your family can die to make up excuses. Anyway, like I said, no excuse for it. Just the way things go sometimes is like you trip over everything and you try to come down, do the work, and something else comes up. Someone else has got a bigger fire to put out. And before you know it, it's been a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and you still haven't done the job. And of course it weighs on you. Every morning you wake up and you kind of go, oh, I still haven't done that. So yeah, very bad business behavior. Did you figure out the board from the other day? The one that Travis, I haven't finished it. Yeah, that's another one that I've got to be careful of. It's starting to drift into that bad zone. What I'm going to try and do with that one, I need to get the data off it before I go much further. Okay, this isn't quite sitting in 100% right. It's got a little bit of a... everything lines up, but it just feels a little lifty. Hey Def Pump, good to see you. Pie Pony, ignore if you find this question stupid. New Macs come with Apple T2 chip. Could you fix a Mac that failed with T2 chip? If it's something that's not involving what the T2 chip manages, then yeah, I mean the one that I've just been talking about, the one that needs a bit of heat to get it to come to life, that's got a T2 chip on it, and I've done a few repairs of those. Lindstrom tools, I have got some Lindstrom tool stuff, and where is it? I'm a little bit disappointed in some of their things. Like, here we go. Lindstrom. The tweezers are a little bit soft, which is actually quite disappointing considering the amount of money that you pay for them. Other things they have do seem to be good. If there's one thing I wish Weira did do, is it would be nice if they actually put the tip type on the end cap. And that way you can just look at it from the end and go, oh yeah, that's like a T5, I want that, and grab it. Whereas instead you got to, and particularly that I'm left-handed. So when I'm left-handed, I grab it like this and the writing's upside down. So for you it would be like that. And that makes it a little trickier to do things quickly. So what I might do is find a way of marking these so that I can clearly see what's going on. Now, you're probably saying I haven't put that trackpad in. That is absolutely correct, because I've got to finish off testing this. You can't see you because the light from the window. Yeah, let me try shut this. That might alleviate things slightly. Nuts and Proud, how's it going in England? You guys Brexited yet? Really, I think you guys should just give up. Go back to being part of the EU and accept that you're just not adults anymore. It's a complete train wreck. And now you've got Boris as your Prime Minister. I mean, good God, man. That's an absolute laugh. So no one's going to invade England anymore. So, you're kidding? They let Boris become Prime Minister? The place is crazy. Okay, why can't I get that in? What's going on here? What the heck? Are you kidding me? Could that have been it all along? No way. No way. I'm going to be in big trouble if that's the case. No, I think surely that's just simply slipped off. That would be an absolute laugh if that was the original problem all along. Absolute laugh. Very embarrassing, but an absolute laugh. Let's see. Paul needs MagSafe 2 and he needs 18 volts, 5 amps. I'm going to scream if that really was it. Hello, you booting yet? The other terrifying thing is when machines languish in your jobs, languish in your workshop for too long, things happen and what used to work all of a sudden doesn't work and then you're in trouble. Yeah, that's not booting. Why are you not booting? Oh no, you are booting now. You gotta complain to the universe occasionally and sort of go, you're not working, and then the universe is like, oh yeah, what's this? And you're like, oops. It's okay, shh, it's a game plan. The universe doesn't realise. I have an nice new home in France, all paid for and just waiting for the removal companies to show up. Ooh, nice. Oh yeah, you did. I see you corrected afterwards. That's a real problem on when you're reading the chat with YouTube, and if you've been on other popular people chats, you may find that even though you immediately write a correction from your previous line onto the next line, the person doesn't see it. And it's just simply because when you're trying to read the chat and doing work, you get a certain degree of blindness. And so you read the one line and that's it. And you don't bother to check to see if there's a correction afterwards. This has taken a while. Did data recovery on a laptop with no display. And the only issue was the LCD was disconnected. It does happen. Yeah, it does. Universe has no bias. I agree. Well, there's... it's hard to say. Do you call it bias or is there just a natural lean in the universe? Kind of like a lot of things being right-handed in terms of like even chemical structures, things like that. Yeah, and why do we have so much more matter than antimatter? That sort of lean in the universe. It does seem to exist. Yeah, this has taken quite a while. It's almost like there's a sensor issue somewhere. Or it is actually the touch pad. No, it's still dead, so this is in some sort of fail-safe boot by the looks of it. Reset password. Okay, definitely not happening. But yeah, that's not going anywhere. Alright. Well, I'm sort of happy in one way, sad in another. Sad because it would have been nice to actually have such a simple fix, so it would sort of placate the fact that it's taken so long for me to just deal with this job. Man, that flex looks shonky as hell. The good thing is this is just a test flex for me. Any idea if there's a difference between the L-tip and the T-tip 60-watt MagSafe chargers? It seems to work, but I suspect there's a difference. Well, I would have thought the actual... I don't know if the signalling is different or not. I really actually don't know. Because, I mean, you can get the adapter, but then, the adapter that goes from the MagSafe 1 to MagSafe 2. But it doesn't always work. So there must be something going on, because if you put a MagSafe 1 with a MagSafe 2 adapter on it, genuine Apple ones, it still will not get a 00165 board to fire up. So there's definitely some sort of protocol difference going on in there. Hey, Rob Graham. Oh, come on. Can you fix a laptop without schematics? Yes, you can. It really depends on the fault. There are a lot of times where you can fix these laptops without any additional data at all. If it's something like liquid corrosion or blown part or something like that, then yeah, you can usually do it. Ugh, this is still taking forever. They're both MagSafe 1. Okay, I've obviously misinterpreted what you said. 2012 MacBook that died. No boot, no green light on MagSafe. Haven't opened it yet. What? That 2012, which MacBook is that? Is that the 15 inch, or is this a A1278 3115 board? A lot of those I've noticed are really starting to die and die too far to bother fixing. This thing's still booting. Hey, Hans Peter Est. 15-inch MacBook, that's going to cost a fortune to ship. Okay, yeah, touch works good on this now. A1286. You know, if it's an A1286 with a 820 board in it, then yeah, I mean, you can repair those. I think the 2012 should be that one. It'd be worth taking the bottom off just to have a look and see if you can find if it's a 3330. And if it's a 3330, then yeah, it's probably worth a shot. Yeah. Yep, so there we go. That's working with the test trackpad, whatever. Me no speak English. Wait, that just... What? You just dropped dead on me. Oh, yeah, duh. Okay, way to be stupid. I'm sitting here trying to touch the touchpad on the actual keyboard assembly rather than the one behind. My goodness. And obviously I can't press the button, so I'm going to have to just yank the power. Okay. Alright. Well, at least we confirmed that 100%. So we just... And since the battery needs replacing in this anyway, it's a win-win, because I said that's becoming a bit of a puffy battery. I'm not going to do the battery replacement. That is something other people can do. I do them occasionally, but I do need to also sort myself out a better set of cutting wires to slice under those batteries. My current technique is to use a playing card to get it started, and then I found these plastic razors work quite well. And what you do is you drive them in under the... Once you've got the gap from the playing card, you can drive these under, and so long as the bevel is down, you can just tap it in bit by bit with plenty of alcohol to smooth the process, and then the packs will lift up. I'd say the hardest bit is dealing with these middle ones, trying to get them out without absolutely ripping things apart. Yeah, playing card for IPA. As long as the playing card has a plastic coating on it, If it doesn't, then that's going to be a little bit more dramatic, because it's obviously going to dissolve every time you try to do anything. Oops, kind of pushing my luck there. I need to... Come on, Bill. You can do it. You can do it. No, you can't. Looks like I wasn't up to Thomas the Tank Engine today. Well, I should be able to do that. Okay. Loosen the heatsink a little. And break things off. Why not? Yep. Yeah, certainly a little bit of alcohol. It acts as a bit of a lubricant as well, not just a solvent. Although I think the lubricating effect might be the fact that the solvent dissolves and then... the solvent dissolves the adhesive, and the adhesive is then slightly slippery. Either way, it's a little nerve-wracking. And always make sure you have the screen open and folded away over the edge of the desk so that the liquid from the alcohol doesn't go into the screen. Because if it does that, then you're really going to have a bad day in terms of profits. Really bad day. I'm thankful I haven't done that, but I do know of people who learnt that lesson the direct way. I felt sorry for him. It's certainly not the nice sort of thing to happen. Sense to think it's over. It was slow, but I think it might have also been because it was in a recovery type situation. There's no other damage on this board that I'm aware of. Anyway, like I said, this is a very embarrassing job for the fact that it should not have stuck around here for this long. A big part of the slowness was it coincided with me moving into the other part of the house. It also coincided with the whole micro situation. And I know you can't let your personal life interfere with business at times, but it does still happen sometimes. And you know, when things are going wrong, you know you're going to ditch the business. It's just nature. Well, for a lot of people. Not everyone, but for a lot of people. And then I had to get the right trackpad for this one. That was quite a bit of fun, actually. Ach, niemand. Okay, that's good. So none of these are interesting diagnosing jobs at this point. So we're going to leave that disconnected. Can't really leave the battery disconnected in these. That's the trouble when you put the lid back down. Have I left any screws out? I've got one sitting in here and definitely can't see any. It might have been extra from somewhere else. No. Ah. Most important thing on this job. Put the little adhesive bumpers on the CPU heatsink. Crap! That just went off into the netherworld. Now I've got to find it. Oh, David, thanks for that. Thanks for the kind words. So I am understanding of the fact that there are things in life that will definitely preside over work, but I really, really try not to have that happen. Okay, there doesn't seem to be any screws for the base plate on this. There's nothing else in here, so I'll have to check that out. I might just put screws in from I've got spares lying around, so I might just use those and close it up properly before I ship it back. Alright, so we've got another one to do now. I smell fire somewhere. And this was an unfortunate job that I couldn't seem to get to come back to life. Maybe I should have a shot at see if I can get this one to come back to life. It sure didn't really want to when I was doing it. Okay, one fan. Okay, this is I can't remember what this is. I think this is a 17 inch. So it's 1297, I think. And I was waiting on a SMC for it. I got the SMC and it still didn't make things work. And at that point I basically table flipped. Nuts and Proud. If you look up above on the title there, if you go to my webpage, pldaniels.com, you'll see the information that you're looking for. While I look around on the ground, looking for my ASD sticks. There we go, ASD. Which brand was that? StarTech. Okay. I'm just trying to get reacquainting myself with what this fault could be. Now, Rob, fortunately, like I said, we're in a fairly safe area here. There's not a lot of what do they call it? It's not a lot of fire. I'm trying to think of the word they use. Fuel. Either way, there's not a lot to burn around here. See, mid 2012 15 inch, 1398, NVIDIA, occasionally hangs up a boot, previously displayed. That could be the U3900 chip. So, have you had the U3900 chip fixed up on that? It's pretty common. Because I've got fan spin, we just don't get data life. Now it's possible actually that the USB is actually at fault. Now I thought it might have been the clock, but I couldn't find anything wrong with that area, but I'll have another look. And as I said, I thought it would be SMC because it does go into full speed. Everything's warming up. Just trying. Yeah, def bombs they are good for giving a few more years of life in a lot of machines. Roland, if you can find out the actual board number, it'll be easier to determine. Okay, so it looks like I've even tried resoldering the bus. Half expecting someone to keep walking through that door. No, combustible is not the word I'm after. I think they use it when they say things like the fuel reduction burns. So I think that's what I'm actually after that word, yeah. Now, the fact that it showed the same symptoms after changing the SMC means to me that it wasn't the SMC in the first place. Now, my thoughts would have been, given that it is fan spinning, clock generator, but now the problem with this board is that it was basically quite clean, and a clean board is a difficult board. I mean, sure, there's a bunch of flux all over it now, but that's from me trying to find out. That part looks shonky, but it's actually because it's an inductor. Or at least, I'm pretty sure it's an inductor. Funny if it's not. I should bring up the board view and have a look. SMC reset, I should check that. And you see I've been trying to hit the power button. DEFCON, nope, I haven't printed it out. I just sort of keep it on my display. Oh, that's right, yeah. So I had this repair down here. But I do have it on file, DEFCON. And bring it up when I need to. Well, that's the thing that I found weird about this one, is see all this sort of, it's all thermal paste, but it's all spluttered everywhere, and I don't know why, especially not up the top. $28.49. Nuts and proud, that is extraordinarily generous of you. Thank you. I really appreciate that, actually. Really, I do. See, it's showed up on my phone. And someone's telling me that they just created job ID 6000. Thank you, Mr. Jason. He's doing very well with his phone business, of course. How do you fix the problem of the coating peeling on the retina screens? I don't. That's the problem. I haven't done that at all. Why won't my right click work? Why won't my mouse... What is going on? That clicks, that clicks, that clicks. Weird. Something's pressing on my keyboard. Yep. I couldn't get any mouse movement. Trying to bring up Flexboard view. Slightly older version. What did I say this is? 2849. Open. Splutter may have come from a thermal paste syringe. Yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't seem... It was all over the board, that was the thing, I just don't know. I do believe that Apple at some point was offering a swap program, but I'm not sure. And I don't even know if that was like in Australia or not. Okay, what am I looking at? What am I looking for? So the fact that this board is comparatively clean is really a problem. I mean, you only need the one part in the right place to be wrong. That's right, I had issues here, and that's right, even changed the crystal clock, and it still wouldn't come up. And I think I've well and truly exercised what I could on this, and it's just not going anywhere. Unless I've missed something obvious, yeah. If someone knows this board having a particular signature fault that does this, then by all means, tell me now. Don't think it's anything nice like a C7771 or whatever it is. Or is it C7111? Either way, I don't think it's a simple one. Bad looking vias below the DCing connector. Oh wait, that's ACN, sorry. Wait, you talking about the battery connector, or are you talking about the AC mains input up here? There's a couple of slightly off corroded test pads, but the vias look okay. Five finger pull. I am nobody. Who the hell is five finger pull? Now, I'm pretty sure I pulled the heatsink off, but we'll do it again, just to look. Big fat Phillips. YouTube recommended this to you? Why would it do that? Go write a complaint to YouTube and tell them that was the dumbest recommendation ever. And see how they react to that. I don't know why they would do that. This is highly non-recommendable stuff. Okay. I think it was a dud via there, but that... And then, yeah. I'm so disinclined to think any of those things would be at fault, but... Yeah, could be wrong. As far as I remember, I was getting CPU voltage and I was getting GPU voltage, and they seemed okay. Five finger full price. And what do you do for a living around here? It's always weird when YouTubers recommended things. It's a bit of a strange sensation to actually be in a live stream and then someone says they arrived because of a YouTube recommendation. So this is probably the worst area that was on the board, and unfortunately it's right next to our PCH. And I wasn't sure. Oh man, these are some janky tweezers. It's like a buck-tooth tweezer there. That needs to go straight in the bin. In the bin those went. They were the Vetus ones that I bought to try and see if I can find replacements for my beloved tweezers, my beloved generic brand tweezers. And to be honest, they sucked. The Vetus ones. They're soft as butter. So yeah, I've reworked this area. I changed the crystal. yeah, just there were issues, and I was trying to see whether that trace was dead, but that seemed okay. Oh, this is a 17-inch MacBook board, 820-2849. We get fan spin, which means it's almost alive, but we get no brain activity from the CPU. Yep.
Fred's here to pick up his phone.
Oh,
Fred
it'll be this one here. Check it. I'm pretty sure it's that one.
he said his partner dropped it.
Yeah, it's 119.
190.
Yep. Looks like YouTube's algorithm's kind of kicking in there a bit much. Yeah, I mean, it could be a bad tantalum somewhere, or as I like to call them, tantrum caps. Because believe me, you put those things on reverse polarity, they really chuck a tantrum. But the fact that it's getting up to SO state and running the fan, I'm sort of, yeah. It could just be a dead GPU for all I know. Corner of the PCH look popcorn. Let me have a look. I think, yeah, you know, you actually might be right there. You might be right. Could be something happened there. Copped a short, popped its brains. Lid sensor is another possibility, yes. Although I would have expected some CPU activity on boot, just to even inquire. It's hard to say. I don't know if that's really popcorned, or whether it's actually the there's definitely no. I think that's actually just the conformal coat going over the copper. What about high-speed fan rail from the schematics? See a 5-finger? He came, he saw, he left. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just a conformal coat thing. And it just looks a little extra weird because we've got the cutaway due to the text. But good spotting. Could easily have been that. Tantalums do give a nice flame colour though. That purple colour is quite impressive. But definitely try hard not to breathe in the byproducts. You will probably suffer. This all is a train wreck because this is where all the flux went for doing the SMC replacement. What's I looking for? Oh, that's right. I was looking at the clock situation, but then I realised that the clock is generated within the PCH, I believe. So, which is why I'm thinking with that damage around the PCH that we actually do have just a dead PCH on this one. So, yeah. I think that's what I'm basically going to write it down as, dead PCH. Now, I really should ultrasonic this. The reason being that even though I have decided that it's a dead PCH, it's not to say that someone else might not have a look at it and sort of go, actually, it was something else. And, you know, that's really good if someone else can find out what was wrong with this and get it working again. So I have to put the ultrasonic on, and unfortunately that's not going to be ready for 4 hours, but at least we'll have it prepared. Put it on there. Ow. Okay. Put these back into the customer's. Okay, that's another job. Ah, crikey. Damn it. Wow, how did that even make connection when I used it? What do we got here? What did you pick up? That's a pretty dodgy looking connector there too. Look at that, broken away. That looks like an iPhone screw. What else you got here? What'd you find? Gee whiz, it's like a golden retriever or something. Just picks up everything. There we go. I don't believe it is a bad DC inboard on this one because I'm fairly sure I tested that before. Can you use an immersion heater? I can, but I haven't found one that I like. A lot of them are just too aggressive. I really want one that's around about maybe 500 watt at the most, preferably something close to about 300 watt, because if you heat up the ultrasonic fluid too much, too quickly, too aggressively, it would mean that the temperature at the boundary between the heater element and the rest of it is just getting too high, and it's probably damaging the cleaning properties of the material. So yeah, I'd probably want something that's more like a flat plate or like a ceramic heater plate that can sit in there, and around about 300 watt would probably do a decent job. And I have not been able to find one on the market that can do that. They're usually always like 1500 watts, 2000 watts, some ludicrous values, and yeah, they just cause more trouble than not, and they'll probably actually corrode themselves out because of that extreme heat in the very alkaline, caustic, whatever you like to use as a term for that, solution. Alright, what are we after here? Could it be bad RAM? You would normally get the beeps if you get the bad RAM, and you would probably still get some activity. And I think I tested it before with RAM change too. But it's a good thing to check. Looks like drops of 2 leads, pure. There are some that recirculate the liquid even. Yes, I've noticed that too with when I run the ultrasonic on this. Like if it's sitting on, if the temperature indicator is sitting at say at 65 centigrade, and then after I run the ultrasonic it jumps up to about 70 because of exactly that. It hasn't made the liquid turn. Use an aquarium heater and modify it. I could do that. You used to be able to get aquarium heaters where you would have a separate thermostat control, bimetallic strip, and then the actual heater element. But I haven't been able to find any of those. It used to be in the 80s, you could still get them definitely, but now they're all fully integrated units, and even if you tweak them right back, they still just keep powering on. So no, maybe I can do it. I'm not too sure how the rubber housings on those would go in amongst the caustic environment of the ultrasonic fluid. I suppose it's something you can experiment with. AK and fix. Alright, let's have another look at it. We've got another machine here that I need to have a look at. This one just came in today. It's got a blown backlight, I believe. Well, something's not. Oops. As far as I recall, this one had liquid damage and then was turned on. It will currently generate output to an external screen, but that's it. Okay, so we've definitely got our liquid damage there. Okay, fortunately at least it hasn't done anything here, which hopefully means we haven't damaged the screen. We do have a bit of corrosion there. Ooh. Wow, Wow. I wasn't expecting that. What do you go off to? You're a speaker, aren't you? I think this is a 4924. That will probably have to be cleaned up. A little bit of corrosion under that chip. Yeah, 4924. Oh no, that got broken. Yeah, that's a shame. It's not critical, but it's just a shame when those connectors get broken. It's certainly not worth going through the drama of trying to put a new one on. Okay, damage is on the other side. Okay, lid circuit capacitor will need a clean up. Some sort of burnout there. Yeah, that's not much fun. Flux and boil might be good enough for that. SMC area looks clean, thankfully. CPU rail line's good. Wow. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Wow, that really went to town. Check it out. So they obviously blew its end cap and lead, and it's been spitting hot lead. Look at this one. This one that really went the distance. That's pretty crazy. Multiple wire round resistors in a plastic bag, dropping the ultrasonic solution. I think the hard thing with that is just getting them hot enough. Yeah, you're gonna need a heck of a DC power supply for that. Yeah, this really went to town. Now the question is why. That requires quite a bit of dedication. It's completely eaten that out. Let's have a look at exactly what that's for. 4924. Okay, all in. It's down here. There we go. C7901, that's the one that's basically blown its guts out. PPV in, so that's actually Thunderbolt X239. I'm pretty sure X239 is Thunderbolt, isn't it? Yeah, it's supplied to coupling, but yeah, bring up the heavy keyboard. Let's find out where else this goes. PP bus S4. Okay, Travis. Take care. SMC actuator. Now the problem I have here is why did it do this? Here we go. Trackpad. Oh, okay. Whoops. I got that wrong. So the trackpad got shorted, maybe? Oh, that is a wreck. Oh, I got op amps and everything in here. Power sensors, high side. Let's see. Oh, okay, it's off PV bus G3 hot. Should have guessed. So I suppose the possibility is that just that cap decided to have a bad day, took itself out. But that's pretty damn impressive. I've got to give it that. Full marks for that one. It's hard to say whether this here is just from the splutter, like maybe it bounced up onto the chassis, onto the bottom plate, then hit down here, or whether it's venting of that diode or not. I'd probably say it was just the bounce out. I'm going to replace pretty much both those cap. I suppose we'll see if we've got a short on that line anyway. Somehow I don't think so anymore. Definitely A for effort. Yeah, there's no short on that anymore. I'd say it burnt itself completely out. So definitely A plus. Helps if you actually use MacBook temperatures. At least it doesn't seem to have delaminated the actual power plane of copper, because that is often what happens, is when you get these sort of events, the heat causes all of this copper to lift up. That one's almost worth keeping. I'll get rid of this one as well. Ferric chloride in the microwave. I've seen some people do it. I wouldn't personally do it. In fact, I really basically don't even use ferric chloride anymore. These days I use sodium persulfate, or I think you can get potassium persulfate too now. I did also use hydrochloric acid and hydrogen peroxide for a while, which is useful because you can actually regenerate that. Okay, that is not solder. That is a alloy partially composed of what was there before. It may or may not come off, I'm not sure. I might try and give it some assistive heat. But I can feel there's a great slag lump under there. Yeah, it's not coming off. Big Clive uses the microwave? Holy dooly. Hey, John's. The big problem I have with using the microwave is, of course, the tendency for them to have localized heating zones. Which, of course, is why we have microwaves with rotating tables in them. Fortunately, that hard substance is actually quite brittle, so it has come off. There is a little bit of... It's not too bad. I was going to say, there is a little bit of puffiness in there. So there's a veer that goes straight down in there. I don't think that's going to be there anymore. Yeah, that's the nice thing about the hydrochloric option, is that you can get hydrochloric acid basically from everywhere and anywhere. Either as pool acid or pretty much everything, or concrete cleaner. But the harder part is the peroxide. And these days, if you're trying to buy peroxide with any meaningful concentration or quantities, you get yourself onto a watch list. Yeah, that's really gone down in there. Now, the only thing is, I can't understand what that would have to do with the backlight not working. So we'll just check our continuity to ground on both sides. So much fluff and junk in this place. Okay, but I think you're meant to be ground. It's yeah, you are meant to be ground, so that makes sense. Are we invoking that terrible picture thing again? That changes colour. Alright, let's put some new parts on that. Well, at least I've got plenty of these boards. Oh, at least I should have. There we go. Good old 4924. Man, you guys look pretty damn scummy, but you'll do. Hey, Blackhood. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. We're not really solving the original fault yet. I wonder how far that hole goes. And more importantly, actually, what is on the other side of that hole? Absolutely nothing. Okay, that's good. Oh, you little rat bastard. Weren't those caps across a MOSFET supply? Could have blown the MOSFET. It's quite possible, but they... Let's see, that was on Q7979. All in. There's quite a few things. They would be upstream of this. So that's the problem, is we don't know what is upstream of here. So I would very much doubt that them shorting out would do anything to this. But certainly whatever comes before here, that could be a problem. Looks like it says page 68, so we'll jump to page 68. Yeah. Blimmin' rails. No, stuff that. So it still doesn't solve backlight issue. I mean, we've got the liquid damage here. Backlight issue could be that. I'm not sure what that does, but since it's got corrosion on it, I'm going to have a look. Off topic, but have you ever done network code TCP and UDP? Yes, I have. Use the Unix networking guide by Stevens, I believe it is. Alright, that's probably our problem. This here controls... yeah, that controls the power to the backlight. Oh, is it? No, sorry, LCD current sense. Okay, it controls power to the LED display anyway. So I'd say we replace that and we'll probably have a better chance of it working. Yeah, I know what you meant. Yes, I've written a few things with networking code. One project I've got that I did probably 20 years ago now is a thing called Mail Feeder, which is just a little utility I did to help me test mail server filtering systems. Because at that time most of my business was selling a product called Examime, which was an email filtering solution. This is obviously, we're talking like late 90s, early noughties. And, oh man, that's not good. I just melted that. Not bad, but I've actually got a bit of a predicament there. I can't not melt one or the other. I hate doing this sort of hack jobbing. So how badly did I burn that one? Not at all. Good. Oh dear Lord, Lewis Rossman's in here. Now I'm really going to have to improve my soldering game. Lewis, bugger off. Actually, I should be nice to Lewis. He's actually a very useful thing to have. He's an excellent software tester. Like when I think I have got everything fixed up in my software, I just hand it to Lewis and he will find anything wrong with it within a few seconds. More viewers than Eli. Okay, that's getting harsh. Is that Eli with or without the chair? Lewis, in all honesty, I haven't even started checking yet. All I've done is I'm just replacing the stuff that looks messed up. Because I really don't feel like braining today. I've got to save my brains for board view work. If this still doesn't work, then yeah, I'll have to turn on the brains. We're getting close to 1 million. Would like you to cordially invite me to come to our 1 million party and not pay you for your presence and make you pay. Wouldn't be Lewis if it wasn't that. At least I know it's the real Lewis and not someone imposter. Okay. Probably should put the heat sink back on this one. Since I come from the era of athlons, I get a little scared about not having heat sinks on things. Hey Lewis, do you have any Wera pentalobe drivers? Because I can't find any Wera pentalobe drivers. So like, I've got my Wera drivers for the other stuff, but I can't find a pentalobe one. So do you know where you can get pentalobe ones? Do they exist? Because I couldn't find any on your page. God damn. Where's my T5? T3, T5. Use the WeHa 41PR. Okay. So basically you're saying no, there's no Wera ones. I had a feeling it would be that. Yeah, I can get a full pentalobe set off WeHa, so I guess I'll be going for that. But I wanted to be sure that I hadn't missed something obvious. Damn. And unfortunately I bought these for the Phillips and they're just too long. So now I've got to go and get shorter shaft versions. My shafters are too long on those. What the heck? The person left. What? Oh, how did they even get that out? Interesting. This person has meticulously put the parts back in to the frame. It's a damn Phillips pole, isn't it? So what are you even doing on this channel, Lewis? Shouldn't you be working? Why such a Wera fanboy? Oh, I'm not such a Wera fanboy. I mean, other than the fact that it's completely ruining my consistency here. I mean, yeah, you've got to make sure all the bling bling looks like coordinated. Otherwise I have to throw out everything next season. I don't know what I'm going to do now that the whole iPhone 11 is out and it's got 3 eyeballs in it. That's going to really mess with how I look downtown when I go walking and strutting the streets. It's going to require a complete wardrobe makeover. I'm trying to learn Wing Chun while looking for a new space. It's hard. What is Wing Chun? Is it kind of martial arty type thing? Isn't that what Bruce Lewis. Bruce Lewis? What? Bruce Lee started with. There's your new name, Lewis. You can be Bruce Lewis. Well, the reason why Lewis's presence is making me a little bit nervous is because I've got to be on the ball for when he chucks an insult in. So basically every time he talks, it pretty much is an insult. Lewis would actually do quite well as an Australian because that is quintessentially what Australians are. Just a bunch of strange sounding insult makers. Let's hope this thing doesn't go pop. Okay, what's going on there? Okay, why don't you want to go in? Yeah, Lewis, the trackpad had an explosive outcome. Literally spluttered hot solder. Okay, what's going on here? No, you're too hard to push in. It shouldn't be that hard to push in. Yay! What? How do I not see that on the connector? What is going on here? This connector looks perfectly fine. But inside here, it's got a huge piece of junk in there. Okay, all in. Sort of our 3 lines here. Okay, so somehow or another that has just fused itself. So I basically put this whole board in for no good reason. So we're going to have to change the connector on that. Yeah, overhead. Let's see if Paul puts a board in and clicks it before. No, I will not do that, Lewis. If there's one thing I'm particularly known for, it's being a little bit too prissy about everything. Very much a cover my butt type person, and in spite of that I still get issues now and then. But yeah, I'd say that connector's got to be replaced. Yep, got to resolder this. Let's have a look. You guys can have a better look now. I mean, yeah. What I don't get is how does that not... that really is messed up. Unless it was jammed back in there. Hey Lewis, don't have too many nightmares about having to use an iPhone 11, or better yet, an iPhone 4. Okay, that is just sort of... See, to me that looks like a screen connector. That does not look like it came from in here, but I can't see any damage on the actual connector. See, to me, that looks like it should have come from this area here. But that is all intact. Nothing has been removed from there. So I don't understand what's going on. I suppose we really should flux and boil all this area anyway first. Could they replace the screen before? It's possible. Maybe that's sort of a secondary effect. Maybe something they've done before and it's only sort of become apparent due to the liquid damage causing the secondary issue. God damn, I frickin' hate these fan assemblies on that board. Those assemblies are so prone to tearing their flex. See, I don't really want to replace this unless it actually really needs replacing, but I suppose it's pretty much jacked up now. Technically, I could almost get away with that. Yeah. You know I can't. I have to replace it. So I just don't know where that's come from. That's fundamentally what the weirdness is where did that come from? Thank you, Greg. Always appreciate your assistance there. What is going on with the moldy microscope? Should come back. There we go. I'm doing it this way because I don't want it to actually languish too long around the SSD connector. Okay. I don't normally shield up the things, but for this one I will. Could have been an Apple refurb, that's an idea. Well, as far as I know, this was just a case of it. I don't believe it's been in for the repair since the burn, so it's entirely possible it has been sitting there like that for quite a while, and this is only just because of the events that happened, the liquid damage, that it actually finally gave up. Now I've got to find a replacement. That's fun. Almost certain I should have the 1502s. Fairly sure the 1466 and the 1502 use the same one. I'll have a check and see if that is actually the case. So I really don't want to have to try and pull it from another board. I mean, I will if I have to, like I can get this one off. Let's see, so what have we got? We've got notch, same width. No, the tabbing's... Is the tabbing different or is it the same? Damn it. Why is Lewis not here when I need him? Lewis! Where are you? Now these should have the little... Yep, they got the little indents. Yeah, Greg, I know. Bad habits. Other than the coloration difference, I think they should be identical. Anyone want to confirm or deny that before I move on? I guess no one's really willing to take that risk. So this is a 1466. As you can see, it's the same sort of thing. Slightly different coloration, but the same connector. And I know I've definitely used those on the 1466s. God damn you. Come on, Paul, pick a spot and go with it. Nope, get the hot air out. Normally I don't have any trouble soldering these, so I don't know what's up with my brain today. Because everybody's here watching, so it naturally adds the element of excitement. And already botched it up. Well done. It's completely not where it's meant to go. Well, they'll do for attack, which is basically all I wanted. And then I'll use hot air and clean up the rest. Now we'll do all the pins. Sometimes the problem can be is the coating on the connectors can be a little bit dodgy. Here we go. Come on. What we're going to do is just put a little bit of solder in, like that. It looks bad because it's a bit cold probably. And that. Do it as well here. Yep, that'll do. And then we cheat. Okay, that one could probably do with a little more solder. Just get that nice little fillet going on. Alright, they look pretty good. Like with glue between two items of, say, wood, whatever, solder, there's really not much point putting on heaps and heaps of solder. It doesn't really do anything outside of the actual junction between the two surfaces. Electrically it kind of does. Effectively reduces the resistance through parallel effect. Okay. Order yourself an FM203, you lucky bastard. You getting tweezers with that one? You know, where is much difference between genuine tips and cheapy ones? I would be sticking with the genuines. personally. The price difference isn't really that much, and it seems to me that the genuines last quite a bit longer. Like, I've had these for 2 years or so now, and they're still going strong. Where I know with the aftermarket ones, it's not unusual to hear them dying after a couple of months. Okay. Ew. You have the tweezers rather than micro pencil. Okay, interesting. What about for iPhone repairs? Because certainly with iPhone repairs, when you've got to do things like get those caps out right next to the CPU and stuff like that, I can think of nothing better than a pair of tweezers, micro tweezers, whatever. Turn that off. Okay, there we go. I was doing that weird jammed up thing. Actually, I might leave the trackpad disconnected at this point, because if that trackpad section blew up, then there might be a reason for that. We just want to see if we've got screen, which means I really don't need to connect any of this stuff. I'll connect the speaker just for listening. Alright, let's see if our cable fits in now without excessive force. Yeah, so that's much nicer. Nice and smooth. And we'll need our ASD stick or something. Yeah, we'll just put MRI in. Might not work on this one. I'm not sure what year this is. Well, no great explosion to start with, so that's a good sign. Yeah, we won't get an Apple logo on this. It will probably just go straight to... We're posting 1 amp. It's not really jumping anywhere. That's the problem, though. It's pretty much stuck. Oh, there we go. Oh, we've got display. Haha. So that was weird. I'm going to have to ask the person what other repairs they've done, because that plastic came from somewhere. And it certainly wasn't from that screen connector. That much is obvious. Yeah, obviously all the sensors are going to fail. This will probably also fail. It will lock up. Yeah, that's not going to work because I haven't even plugged in the touch. But it will probably lock up. I've noticed that's what MRI does if it's on a board that's too new. And I think, yeah, that's what it's done. Okay. That's not a problem. Let's see. I guess we'll plug in other things. Try our luck with the touchpad. Won't bother with the fan yet. I've got the heatsink on, so I'm not too stressed. Yeah, Rob Graham, it's pretty typical, isn't it? You see, universe loves to taunt. Actually, I like this person's idea of using this piece of tape to hold back the keyboard connector, because on these models, keyboard connector is such a rotten pain. But the fact that you got to flex them down, jam them in, and while it's under your thumb, you don't know if you've clipped up the other end. Okay. Get our ASD drive. Not sure if I'll have one that will suit this. I've forgotten. Sorry, DefCom's gonna kill me. It's so bad that my vision, I can't even see which one's the option key there. This is the 4924 DefCom. We just got a few petitions on that drive. I think so. Try the 62 OS. It's probably going slow because the camera is disconnected. So that makes complete sense, Apple. Complete sense. Touchpad clicky doesn't work. Yeah, that's no good. Well, we know it works. We know the fault's fixed. It's, you know, up and running. So I think we'll take that. We'll take our win and be happy with that. And at this point, given that it is almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I best tootle off. At least I can mark this down as being repaired, at least for this current point. Let's see. Standard. And my hair's gotten all greasy because I forgot to wash it last night, because I didn't get to bed till about 2:30. Because what's happening at the moment, Micro is, maybe because he's in better health or whatever, but he likes to now go outside and just do all his stuff at 2-3 in the morning, whereas everyone else is inside asleep. And we're trying to sleep as well, but we get woken up rather my wife gets woken up about 2 or 3 times a night because he's chucking up a bit of a fuss. So I'm trying to stay up late so that he can get more time out there, then lock him in, and hopefully we can get 4 or 5 hours of continuous sleep. Heading for the horizontal couch, that's a good idea. I'm going to go get some coffee, and I'm glad to see that this is sorted out. So I'd say we had the 2 problems of that 5-volt LCD chip. Maybe it wasn't damaged, but I replaced it anyway because we did see the corrosion around it, so it was a prudent move to do that. And then of course that junk in the connector, that's, yeah, I'm just going to have to ask the person, you know, what happened before to possibly bring this up. And of course our exploding trackpad driver cap, that was brilliantly destructive. That, let's see if I can bring it under the microscope just before I go. There's one of these over here. Make sure I don't lose it. It really needs to go into like the Hall of Fame caps. Where are you? Here we go. Definitely a Hall of Fame capacitor. I mean, that really took a big chunk out of itself. And you can see it's cracking up into the body too. And we've pretty much gotten to the bottom limit of the focus. Depth of field is sort of gone. And it's got all the fracturing there, and the crystallization. Nah, that's quite impressive. Kathy will certainly do so. Yeah, the cap and the fact that it spluttered molten metal across the board, you can see where it bounced along. It's quite impressive. The scoring across the board, yeah, that's sort of thing you'd expect to see from a what do you call it? Wow, good on the auto switcher, caught me out there. Sort of thing you expect to see from a meteorite crashing into the planet's surface or something like that. Alright, that's a courier delivery. So I gotta go. You all take care. I'll see you later.